You want to know where to find customers overseas. If you go through these simple steps, you will create market potential information specific to your product no one else on earth will have. This is the first step in the fastest way to identify a customer and go in for the sale. I'm John Spires. I've been in small business international trade since 1974, working for others for the first 10 years, and then since 1984 self-employed. I also teach and write and consult on the topic of small business international trade at various colleges and industry associations on the side. Let's show you how to find customers most directly. Now, this does not guarantee a sale, but it assures if you do not make a sale, the person who refuses your offer tells you exactly why, and then you know what to do to get a sale. And that would be, of course, overcoming those objections. At no cost in less than an hour, you can have market facts no one else has, information you can act on in order to grow your business. After that, the cost of getting your offer in front of the customer overseas will be no more than a few dollars. You can do this as an owner of your company, an agent looking to represent USA products overseas, someone in a sales department, or someone who would like to outshine everyone else in the sales department. This series is presented within the context of my courses, and it assumes you have an overall tools and tactic and attitude I teach. It is a standalone lesson, though, and useful as it is. I have this available as a .pdf with all the URLs and a step-by-step instructions as well, so feel free to email me if you'd like a copy of that. The best way to view this is with this in one window and with another window open, so you may work alongside as you proceed and stop at this video when you need to catch up. Okay, and as I said, my name is John Spires, and there's my URL, my web page where I keep information updated and resources and all that kind of thing, which you're free to visit anytime, johnspires.com. Now, the first place we're going to go in this process is Rulings, Customs and Border Patrol .gov. Now, this is a fun little page to visit when you know what you're going to be importing. So let's say we're bringing in cheese. When we know what we're going to be exporting. Let's say we're going to be exporting cheese. Now, this will be covering imports of cheese. And what it is every time somebody writes United States Customs Service a question regarding a given product, say cheese, and Customs issues a ruling or an answer, generally it gets published on the internet for you and everyone else to read and learn from. Canada does this as well, and I think a lot of countries do this. But at any rate, we're talking about exporting from the United States, and this is rulings on importing. Well, what do we exporters care about importer rulings? Well, because the United States is a member of the World Trade Organization, that's some 150 countries, and subscribes to the harmonized tariff schedules of the United States. That means there's harmonized tariff schedule numbers, like that item right there, referring to products that are imported into the United States. Now, we want to see what the American rules are on importing cheese, because the other members of the World Trade Organization are likely to have the same rules applied to American cheese being exported to their countries. So this one's hard white block cheese, cow's milk, and we can take a look at the letter itself, the reply that's going from the United States Customs Service in 1991 to Marco Antonio Melendez at Honduras Import-Export Company. So these letters go out to import-export companies, to customs brokers, lawyers, all sorts of people write letters to customs, and customs replies. So here it's talking about this kind of cheese, but that's kind of old, 1991. So what I want to do is I want to go back, and this is 1991, 100% applicability to my search on cheese. I want to change that around to the date being the newest date. Tariff collection cheese, flavored oils. So these are 100% matches. These are by date, the most recent questions. But here's one, tariff Maasdammer cheese. Let's go take a look at this letter. And this one's going to Dion Foster Always Forwarding. So this is a freight forwarder that's asking the questions, always obviously on behalf of a customer of theirs. So they're talking about what kind of cheese it is. They're describing it. Pale yellow block of cheese exhibits a number of large and small holes. Eyes are regularly distributed throughout the body. It is smooth, dense, elastic, with a creamy, sweet, nutty taste. So apparently this customs official, Miles Harmon, is an expert in cheeses. A connoisseur, no doubt. So these are all the details, and if this pretty much matches what you're doing, the kind of cheese you're getting, a kind of a Swiss cheese with moisture content and fat content and all that, well then this is probably the HTS number you're looking for. So what is the HTS number? Why, it's this item right there. It's 10 digits. That kind of, now, almost everybody that ever does research in international trade will do it to the 4-digit level or the 6-digit level, which to my mind is just macro data. Macroeconomics data. I want microeconomic data. I want it about my kind of cheese. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it over here. Now I went through this just to make sure it would go smoothly. So that's where I would paste it on a little side note there to keep track of it. Because the next place I'm going to go is I want to check this number out a little bit more on what's coming into the United States so that I can study this more thoroughly and see what I can learn. So I'm going to go into the Harmonized Tariff Schedule of the United States. Now again, this is everything coming into the country, but everybody in the world subscribes to this. So I want to take a look at what the USA says about this. Now this is, number is 040690. Chapter 01, 02, 03, 05, and down to 10, 11, 12, and all these numbers, all different products go down to 99, I believe. Yeah, all the different products that you can export. You can check this out on your own, and there's videos to learn more about using this, but we're going to cheese right now, chapter 4. Now this will tell you all about birds, eggs, honey, edible products, animal origin, dairy produce mainly. Everything that, if you're going to be in this business, you should read all this, know all this. And the trick here in getting involved in international trade and exporting is don't become an expert in international trade. That's a big waste of time. Become an expert in the international trade of your product. So get expert in the very narrow field of what you do. Don't worry about what anybody else does. Better you know only about cheese. So as we go down here, we're looking for 040690. So that's 040690. I want to go down. That's probably pretty close down. The 9018. Now I want 904600. 9032, 9038, 43, 48. Okay, so we got cheese and curds, Swiss or Emmentaler. That's right. This number described. Okay, here it is again in the HTS. Now I found it, and I can read all sorts about other cheeses and see if there's something better or easier. Now, of course, you can go and get one of those letters from the United States Customs Service just as other people have done, but they take a lot of time. They take a little bit of money. You might as well just go do this your first and get close enough to start, because watch, this is going to change. So I'm going to take that number again, highlight it, and note it here, get it down there. Then I'm going to go to a new place. I'm going to check some more information out about my specific product. So, and as you research this more and more, what happens is you become as expert as the top people in your field, because they already know all this and you're picking it up. So I want to find out kind of a general way. Onions, what are onions? No, we're doing cheese. Okay. It's other than animal feeding, other than substitute, it's other than mixed with cocoa, it's other than grated, and it's fresh. So I want fresh cheese. And there's a 04 cheese and curd, fresh and ripened curd whey cheese. Huh. And there's the dollar amounts exported in 2010 and 2009. So this is a growth area. So I want to learn about this. This is the Schedule B search engine. This is we're harmonizing, we're switching over from United States Customs HTS numbers to United States Census Schedule B. United States Customs is in charge of what comes into the country. United States Census is what charges on what goes out of the country. Funny stuff, but here's Schedule B. And we're taking now a look, we're switching over from the U.S. Customs numbers on imports to the U.S. Census numbers on exports. So we got 046000. I want to learn more about that, but that's a little bit vague. I think we can do better than that. So I'm going to go over to another place that Census runs. And I tell you, any exporter can tell you about this. This is no big deal. This may be making your head spin right now, but no big deal. So now let's put in this 10-digit code here that we just had, and that's why I mark them over there, so I can keep plugging them in whenever I have to. And I'm going to search this one and see what I get here. Cheese. Go down here. Holy smoke, I got bird's eggs. I got, what else do I got here? I got butter. I got cheese. I got fresh, grated, processed, blue veined, other cheeses. Well, now mine's not unripened. So I believe ours was cured or ripened or something there. I don't know anything about cheese, but I'm just using this as an example. But anyway, so let's say we go down there. It's not blue veined, it's other, it's not cheddar, it's not Colby. So it's other, including mixtures. So the numbers on cheese between United States Customs, United States Census have not been harmonized. So to declare this correctly, to get it out of the United States, when I declare it to U.S. Census, I got to use that number. And then when I'm doing research from United States Census on what's left the United States, I have to use that number. So that's where I'm going to go next. I'm going to take that number and start researching now that I've converted from an HTS number to a Scheduled B number. So now I'm heading out of here to the United States International Trade Commission. Okay, so this is a massive collection of all the trade data, what's everything coming into the United States and going out of the United States. I love this place. And I'm going to go now to the data web. Now, I already have an account here, so I'll log in a second, but you can just scroll down and create a new account. And then you put in your username and password, confirm your password, and then are you with the government or personal use, or are you a student, educational? You're not U.S. government. The name of your firm is, self-employed or just yourself, your phone, email, all that kind of stuff. Then you create the account. Once you got to create the account, you will then, from then on out, when you land on this page, you'll just put in your username and your password, and you will log in. Alright, so then you'll set this up for US total exports. You want HTS numbers, not a quick query. You want current trade. You don't want to go back to 1989. You want all the trade data from 96 to 214, but we're only going to go back 5 years now. We're not going back 20 years, whatever that is. So we want to make a new inquiry. So now, set this up the first time. Make sure you got FAS, free alongside value, which is the value of the goods sitting on the docks in the United States, and that's your only choice. This way, no matter what port it's going out of, it'll be based on the same American price to the port. That's what the data will show. And then you also want first units of quantity. Now the way you do this is that you just shift click the two that you want. I don't want second unit quantity and that kind of stuff. I want actual numbers. I want 5 years running. I want to go back the last 5 years here. I want annual. I want HTS 10. I want all countries, all districts, aggregate all districts together, display countries separately. I want my countries separate. I don't want them together. I want them separate. And then the next thing I need to do is I need to set up a commodity list. So what I'm going to do here is I want 10-digit level. I'm going to name it cheese. And I'm going to make a new list. And I'm going to go to 4, which is dairy products. I'm going to show all those items. And then what I want, 0406 90 95 50. So I'm going to go down here to 0406 90 95 50, choose mixture. Okay. So now they've added one more thing, including mixed kinds of cheeses. So this is a little bit wider than I was hoping for, but there it is. But anybody buying one kind of cheese is buying other kinds of cheese too. So get close enough. It's good enough. So now return to query page. Now you'll see I've got all pineapple jellies and smoked fish and sugar and red wine and spuds and everything else on here, but I got to find cheese because I've got all sorts of yogurts and products, eggs and cherries, but I got to find because this is putting itself in redoes itself in alphabetical order. So I don't want Cucurbita Potassiae or coffee. I want cheese. Now I don't have to click anything. That's just highlighted. That's what's going to come up now. So I've got all these things on this page set the way I want them. As you see, make sure you've got them set that, not just this place, but all districts. And then I want to go to proceed to next step. Now, just trust me on this. You want to reverse the order of this. You want HTS numbers first. You want country second. You want proceed to next step. Now, here again, just do this the first time and it'll stay that way all the time. You want ascending HTS numbers. You want display of the grid. You want key variables on the first line. Enable subtotals. Descending top 15. Make that. Font size is 3. Display percent change. Your select year is 2013. Now this is 2014, April 2014. There is information for I think January and February out right now, but we don't particularly care about that right now. We want to see a 5-year trend of what's going on. Now I can report this directly to Excel, so the report comes out as an Excel report, but no, I want it in a different way because I want to I'll show you shortly what I'm going to do with the information. You can also print out the report put it in display printable that way. So now I just click report button, and that'll going to give me all of the exports from the United States to all countries around the world in dollar amounts and kilos for every year 2009 to 2013, so that I can analyze this data. And when I do, no one else in the world is going to have this information. Probably nobody else in the world has this information, has bothered to do this. And then certainly they don't have what's going to happen next, as I'll show you. But anyway, so what do we see here? First, Mexico is our #1 customer for cheese from the United States. They got a 24% increase between 2012 and 2013, but they've got like a 300% increase between 2009 and 2013. So Mexico is not only the biggest, it's growing fast too. Canada's growing fast. Japan's growing fast. Korea is growing so-so, and they're going up and down. Saudi Arabia growing pretty good. Bahamas, Dominican Republic. Now, as you look down, I'm going to do, say, 6 of these that I'm particularly concerned about. But if you go down through this list, you see all sorts of Trinidad and Tobago, $2 million worth. Wow. Then you take a look at this. That's 113%. There's 100. So Kuwait's growing for some reason very fast, 127%. Morocco is growing fast. And then we got Qatar. Now, why are all those Middle Eastern countries growing fast in cheese? That's interesting. Just an odd thing. Colombia is growing fast. Egypt. Argentina went from nothing to a lot. That's something that's interesting. Who else we have? Bahrain. Well, for some reason, it seems Muslims and Arabs are enjoying our cheese. How about that? Germany's growing. They actually dropped dramatically, and then they're growing off that dramatic drop there. If you look at that one there, so you could Google Germany cheese exports USA, and then there will be articles on why it's been dropping. They'll tell you there's probably some sort of little price war or something going on there. France is not doing much of anything. So if you look down this list, okay, Brazil's going up fast. So you might find ones that are not in the top 10, but are your target country or are growing fast, or see someplace like Turkey is spotty. This one, Suriname, is very spotty and not much anyway. So I mean, if you wanted to target those countries, you could, but as you get down here, you get into pretty much negligible stuff. But then here's the grand total in dollars of cheese exported from the United States around the world, and then we get down into kilos of cheese exported. Again, it's the same, the dollars rules, so the next is Mexico, Canada, Japan, and all that kind of thing. On down the line, and here again are the totals in kilos. So now what I want to do with this is I want to analyze all this kind of stuff, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my trusty template for analyzing exports. And again, this is just the flip side of analyzing imports, but I'm going to change this export in dollars and kilos from onions, which is the last thing I did, to cheese, CHEES, oops, unlock, CHEESE, and then the HTS number here, it's really Schedule B, but that's how I'm going to put that. I'm going to hide, I'm going to call this Schedule B number is there. Okay, and the source data, of course, it's always nice to tell people where you got your data, usitc.gov, and people know what that is. So I want the world totals in dollars first for cheese exports from the United States. Now, if I just highlight left to right, this is very important, because if you do right to left, it's going to do funny things to you. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come up here into the dollars, and all I have to do is click that first one. Boom, it fills up all those. Now that's an error message, but don't worry, we can fix that later by simply going to Arial, regular 10, and there's the numbers as they should be. And then I've got, that's the total dollars world totals, and I'm going to go down to kilos, total kilos, and again left to right, copy. Oops, I want to go over to here. This is where I want to be. And then I just here, and it'll fill itself left to right. And again, I've got that funky number thing going on. Now I'm not going to do this every time. I'm just going to put in the error, leave the error messages alone, and go back and fix them all at once. But you see what happens there. Now what we see is these numbers, I've got it off the base here. So the world totals of cheese exports from the United States between 2008 and 2009, there's a 33% increase, 150 to 200. There's a 54% increase there, so we got acceleration. We got acceleration going on here, 33%, 54%, 95. So this cheese export from the United States is growing and growing strong. So where we got a 100% increase, as you can see here, we got acceleration. And what's the price people are paying around the world per kilo? 373, 386, 440. So the prices are going up as well, as are the quantities. So this tells us, this is a lot of good information here and a lot of encouraging information. Cheese exports are growing. Cheese exports are increasing in price. Those aren't big prices. At $4 a kilo, that's roughly $2 a pound. That's not expensive cheese. That's really kind of cheap cheese. But you got to figure, the fact of the matter is that where cheese is growing, where any product grows well, there's most of it is going to be the mass merchandiser stuff, the big business stuff. But wherever the big business breaks in, there's always a specialty market starts forming as well. I mean, back in the 60s in America, cheese was Velveeta, wine was Mateus, and bread was Wonder, and all those are pretty well, they're not my favorite brands, although they may be America's favorite brands. But you'll know where there's no money in those products. Where the real money is in the upscale. And you walk into a Whole Foods, and you'll see the massive amounts of really high-end and really tasty cheese that sell well sell as well. So don't worry too much about these prices. What we're looking for are what countries are buying the best prices, as we'll see here. Now, this again, remember, was for onions or something, and I'm now going to fill in for cheese, and this particular kind of cheese. So where I want to go first is up to the top. Remember, Mexico was our #1 customer in the United States, so I'm going to just put it there. Now again, I highlighted Mexico, so when I lay this in, Mexico goes in there as well. So that was #1. #2 is Canada, so I'm going to highlight the Canada too, because I got a cell that has the name of a country in there that I want to replace. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to click back here, and it was Japan for onions, and now it is Canada for cheese. Oh, but Japan is #3 for cheese, so I'm going to copy that, and again toggle back here. And all the usual suspects are showing up as our trading partners. Korea, copy, And let's go in here, not Taiwan. And then I'm going to go back here. Saudi Arabia is copy. And I'm going to drop in, instead of Australia for onions, it's Saudi Arabia for cheese. And Bahamas. Instead of Korea, dropping in Bahamas. Get rid of that. I'm not sure why that showed up. And then come down here. Okay, so there's the top 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, that was the dollar amounts. And notice I didn't fix the error codes. I'm going to go down and now lay in the kilos. Now, I'm not copying Mexico on this one because I already did. So Mexico. Canada, copy. Canada, and then Japan. There's Japan. And the next one is Korea. I hope you're timing this and seeing how long this takes, because it's not hard to do. It gives you a very powerful tool. It's not hard to do, but it does take a little bit of time. And if you do have the gift of ADD, you tend to get diverted, lack of focus. What other problems? Excitability, all those kind of fun things. Now I want to convert all this back to take care of those error codes. So I'm going to highlight the whole doggone thing. I'm going to go down to Arial. I'm going to go down to regular. I'm going to go down to 10 point, and boom, all the numbers fix themselves. I told you, excitability. So now we got Mexico, 53 to 155 $1 million worth. It's there's the, again, acceleration here as well. We got acceleration here, acceleration here. We got deceleration, screech, 180% increase to only a 35% increase. So it's increasing, but there it is. Saudi Arabia, we're getting acceleration. So all these markets are growing in an accelerating manner. So here's the average price paid. Let's compare what percent of the market total. So in 2008, Mexico bought 35, almost 36% of everything United States exported went to Mexico. 38, 31, 42, 49. So almost half of everything in 2012. Oh, wrong numbers. Busted. 2009 to 2013. I just noticed something. I got that wrong. So I'm going to fix that right now. 2009, tab. 2010, tab. 2011, 2012, 2013. Okay, now it's all. Oh no, it's not. I gotta fix this too. 2009, tab. 2010, tab. 2011, tab. 2012, tab. 2013, tab. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I can print this or save it as cheese, save it whatever else. But I got a lot of these things from all different kinds of products and all different kinds of years. I got these going back to, oh, it's the way we used to do it back in the 80s. Never mind. So anyway, so 2009. 373 is the average price. 2013, the average price is 431. As I said, we got all these accelerations. The average price paid. Mexico is now half of everything we sell. United States sales goes to Mexico. About 14% goes to Canada. 7% goes to Japan. 6% goes to Korea. 3 to Saudi Arabia, but look who's growing fastest. Saudi Arabia may be a small percent, but it is growing fast. So you see all this kind of stuff going on here. Percent of world total of the exports, got that. So what's the average price paid? 360, 378, 409. Well, take a look at these prices. $3 for Korea is paying the most. Saudi Arabia is paying the least, 427. Now, not sure why that is, but you could very well Google Saudi Arabia cheese exports, USA Saudi Arabia cheese exports 2009. See what the stories show. Stories will come up about that. There's stories about everything. So prices, Bahamas paying about the most. Bahamas seems to be paying a premium there. So keep that in mind. That's where premium cheeses are going. It's got a 100% increase. It too is accelerating. Looks like maybe a good business, a good market to go after. Because you remember, whoever's selling cheese and doing well with it, all you got to do is show them, an importer that the price is good, the sales are increasing, and then any importer that's not aware of this is going to want to test this out, and that's what you're looking for eventually, is to find people who will test your product. Anybody who buys a test order is testing the product in that foreign land and helping you with the search and learn process. So as you'll see later, we're only doing test orders to start to get our sales going here, but that's for a later video. Okay, so this cheese, now what strikes me immediately here is the narrow range of prices for cheese for all these countries from all these different continents. But here's what's going on. Cheese is highly regulated in the United States, highly controlled in the United States. Therefore, and highly reported. Therefore, everybody in the world knows exactly what the prices are. So you're not going to find much variance in the price. Now, you will find these are average prices. So this is the average price paid by Mexicans. This is the average price paid by Bahamas. So that means that here they're about 15-20% higher price leaving USA than Mexico. You can buy a lot of luxury specialty for 15% price margin, price difference. So it means a lot is below this 428 and a lot is above. Now I suspect that 428 going to Mexico, these prices going to Mexico, is probably a pretty standard price. It may be that there's not much variance off that, but I suspect to a place like Japan, there's both low cost heading into Taco Time and Kentucky Fried Chicken in those places that Americans buy their cheese from overseas and bring it into Japan, and then so it's heavy on a much lower price, and then heavy on a much higher price as well. Oh boy, get rid of that. Heavy on a much higher price as well. And as you just noted in my mistake there, you can see what the formulas are behind each of these cells by clicking on the cell. But also in my PDF, if you want that, I show you how to build this this spreadsheet. Or again, email me and I'll send you one of these templates, and it might say onions or whey or something else, but as you saw, you just overwrite it and then you save it as your new item here. So what we do here is we now have a country. We know which country we want to go after. We know which country we want to target for our market. Now, I'm presuming you're going to be doing specialty. You're not competing on price, and as I said, this is within the context of my courses, and we compete on design. We sell to specialty stores. We never try to compete on price and sell to mass merchandisers. So you can use this information to target as a mass merchandiser what countries to go after, but our rationale is different, so that's not what I'm going after. But so sticking with selling to upscale stores, that is going to be what to do next. Will be the next video on this series of finding the best customer, going straight to the best customer. Now here's another little business I own and love. It's called Seattle Teachers College. If you're ever looking for courses on this and that, it's at seattleteacherscollege.net. But if you want to reach me in particular, you can go, of course, to johnspires.com and reach me there. So I'm going to finish up this one with that. So I want you to go ahead and create your spreadsheet and get your raw data. And if you run into any trouble, email me, and I might do a troubleshooting video at the end of this series, because you can run into all sorts of fun problems going through the process. I just did a real simple one here for you. But do proceed through this series, and if you have questions, email me if you're on my list of people who've taken my classes, because I cannot take the time to start from the beginning. But if you got quick questions, feedback, that kind of thing, glad to have it. So thank you very much. Good luck. Keep in touch. Over and out.